is a Cosmic Octave original podcast.
Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking
Not
weed.
me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
I'm a dad. What's up? Welcome, dad. Okay.
I tell him, hey, before we record, I say, Luke, this is your brainchild. This is your baby. You got it. You're hosting it. You come out with that. What was that?
No, because I was trying to come up with a solid intro to the cast. But no, this is something that I've been wanting to do. This is something Jake and I have been wanting to do for a few years. Well, I guess technically a year because Jake's still new to the dad deal. But the dad deal.
That was a dad sentence.
But since I've become a dad, I'm not saying that I'm an expert. I'm not saying that in any way or shape or form this is the guidelines that you need to use to become a great dad. But this
we would
is
never
my
tell anyone how to parent. We would never tell anyone how to parent.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. This is a little bit about how we were raised with our parents and our dads and us as dads and things that we've learned in the dad realm to do the dad deal. And maybe we'll be
doing great, champ.
Something that worked for us.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking about earlier. And, just things that we experience as dads and talking about them with other dads, and maybe they could use it. Maybe it'll benefit them as it has for us.
And it's something that Tyler and I talked about. We constantly want to expand what we're doing with off panel, off topic, and Luke and I have been, like he said, we've been meaning to do, because we used to do videos and podcasts with each other a lot, and now we live in different cities, so that's a little bit more difficult. So
we live in different states, brother.
Or states now.
Not just cities.
Well, I guess it technically has been states for the last couple of years, but
but this is
this
more
is
than
much
a couple
different,
hours.
Yeah, than a 2-hour drive or whatever. So, and it's really, like Luke said, it's about us sharing stories of raising kids and being a dad.
Things that have impacted our lives for the better.
But we're also going to be talking about, like our favorite TV dads, our favorite movie dads. What's a good?
I mean, it's not all discipline and thermostats and
and jorts.
Yeah, and jorts
and Hawaiian
sometimes,
shirts. If you're watching,
sometimes
the video.
we talk about the fun things that come with dads. Like I want to talk about sleepovers and vacations and shit like that.
Exactly.
Anyway,
real quick, I want to mention. My wife bought me this Hawaiian shirt that I'm currently wearing. It for audio listeners.
Both of his sons are on there.
Yes, my baby boy.
Because he's a dog dad and a dad.
Dad square. But it's my dog and my son. So it's awesome.
Fantastic.
She nailed it. It's extremely comfortable, by the way. Very comfortable shirt.
It's probably like some kind of polyester.
So Luke, what are we doing today? What are we talking about today?
So today, this is the build-up. I want to talk about becoming and having the title of dad. So everything that has gotten us to this point. But before I get there, I want to...
Like our full sexual history? Or no?
Well, not full sexual history, but with your wife, But I do want to start with like a little tidbit about, growing up and being... And something that's always been like for whatever reason, it's just kind of like a Saturday thing. And that's why this is in the background. This is my drop.
Oh, no.
Is for whatever reason, some of my earliest memories are my dad and I getting in his truck. Well, no, at the time it was his old Mustang, 67 Mustang. And this thing was a beast. It growled. It was fucking doing all kinds of things. But it was old, and there were some problems. and so almost like every Saturday in the summer, it was father-son trip to O'Reilly's. Go get motor oil, go get something, and it would just be him. And this is a time where like wife beaters weren't wife beaters.
Why did they get called that? I don't know who
the white tank top that because people that
I know what you're talking about.
After time, dudes that wore them almost always beat their wives, and they and that's what they were called, wife beaters. Anyway, it's like
no, but I know what you're saying. The early aughts, those were fashionable.
Yeah, so overly baggy cargo shorts. Like my dad probably wore like a 30 waist. He would wear like a 36 for whatever reason, don't know why, and they'd be like overly baggy like cargo shorts. And he'd wear these like super 80s like Miami Vice moccasin things, like bright white, and they got the little tassel tie. Yeah. Anyway,
did your dad ever wear those like they're not pit vipers, but like the one like the like they kind of they're like pit viper ones. They're like the Macho Man ones where it's the sunglasses where it's the one big like
no.
lens.
My dad's always kind of like the same sunglasses, and we'll get more into this with when we do fashion.
Yes, when we do the fashion episode, I've got a whole fucking story to tell about those weird ass sunglasses.
But anyway, it was always his he wears Oakleys now, and that was his anniversary gift for the 25.
Sorry,
$120 Oakleys for his 25th, and then my mom got like a $10,000 diamond or some shit.
Jesus.
But anyway, he was like, "No,
just that much on sunglasses.
Just new sunglasses, bro." Because I mean, my dad literally never goes anywhere without them. They're always on his head. And again, I'll get more into this later.
Sorry, it's true. I've never seen your dad without a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, literally, he is all the time. But he's got the sunglasses. He as soon as he walks in, top of his head. As soon as he walks out, on his eyes. But he's wearing these moccasins, wife beater, overly baggy cargo shorts. We go in.
Wait, you wore the wife beater, nothing else?
Yeah, no. Like I said, that was a fashion thing in the late '90s, early 2000s. That was just the thing.
But I only wore it at home.
Well, sorry. When we go on vacation, it's not a wife beater. It's a white tank top, but it's got Mickey Mouse on it, and that was his thing. He's like, I beat my wife, but I won't touch my kids.
Jesus. First, this is the only episode.
But that's just like an every Saturday in the summer. It was just we would just go get auto shit, and he would never teach me anything about cars.
He would just berate you while you held his flashlight.
He would just yell at me for holding the flashlight, and that's like a rite of passage that I can't wait for as a father.
Those are the most relatable TikToks. Have you seen that? Where it's the sound of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's like, "You've got to be the stupidest son of a bitch I ever met," and it's like me standing there holding the flashlight. My dad's working on the car.
It's so true though, but that's like anything your dad's working on. If your dad's working on something under the sink, move it, hold it steady.
I do that now with my dog. Get out of my fucking way.
Come on. But yeah, so anyway, that's my little story and explanation of O'Reilly's.
Jesus, that's amazing.
Okay. Anyway, if you would like to add to that, or if you have something you would like to share about your father.
Well, I think that my dad, and I'm worried that I'm going to pass this on to my son. I think I really adopted my dad's toxic traits. I got some of his good ones, but I feel like I really got a lot of his toxic traits. Like, for one, I don't think I'll ever be able to quit sweets, man. I have a nasty sweet tooth.
See, I was gonna say gluttony, but that was a little bit.
No, it's true.
No, I mean, I'm in there. I'm in the same boat.
Hey, man, we got the dad bod. It's fashionable now.
No. I can't get rid of it, man. I want to talk about that later too. Is the father guilt of when I paid for it, I'm eating it, and that's a real thing right now.
I'm not.
God damn it.
I have not run into that problem yet, but no, I really think I got all of his toxic traits, like the staying up, like I don't want to say insomnia, but I stay up too late usually. And but the thing that always stuck out to me with that is I blame him that, like, after my parents split up, I lived with him most of the time. And it was like a traditional thing that we would do on weeknights. We would, Nick at Night, would watch an hour of George Lopez at like 9 o'clock. We would both make a bowl of cereal.
Nice.
And I don't know. It usually depends on the day. We were probably both in our underwear, or one of us is in our underwear. Didn't matter either one.
This isn't toxic, Jake. This is just prime.
That's something I was telling Ashley about, because you don't think about it, but you see your parents in their underwear a lot.
Yeah.
Like even with her, because her mom had all girls, so like it didn't matter if she didn't have a shirt on, like it was whatever. And it's the same thing. I saw my dad's balls, I think, more than my mom did.
I think I saw my dad's balls more than I saw my own.
But you know what? It built character.
Yeah, man. Why do you think that when we hung out, we always shit together? Because my dad would come walking in when I'm trying to take a shit,
dude.
And he'd have full conversations with me, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
My dad would call in my mom and have like legit, serious conversations while he's fucking dropping a deuce, and my mom the whole time is like, yeah, okay, yeah, like this is really fucking gross. Can we have this conversation? And he'd be like, you know what I'm saying?
Like Jack Black, Nacho Libre every time he's talking.
But what I was leading to was the tradition was, at 9 o'clock, we would watch George Lopez for an hour, have a bowl of cereal, and then watch an hour of Seinfeld, and then go to bed. And it didn't matter. I've probably seen like every episode of Seinfeld like 20 fucking times, but I love that show and I'll always watch it. And I think a lot of that came from my dad. But yeah, that always will stick out in my mind of just a weird tradition that we had. And I'm excited. You talked about that. I'm excited to have those kind of weird traditions with my son, because that's probably the most exciting thing about being a parent.
Dude, we'll talk about traditions. We'll talk about traditions another episode, because like Christmas time, dude. Like my parents, my mom was always like, "Oh yeah, you fucking love go Christmas. Above and beyond Christmas shit." I love Christmas. Like she's not even able to walk, talk, or anything, and I'm like going to the fucking nines with this fucking Santa Claus
video
prequel
you sent
shit.
Me of the fucking. The deer tracks and shit.
Like I said, we'll talk about that in another episode. This episode, I want to talk about. This is just my list. It's kind of like a 7 part. Yeah. So anyway, I want to talk about you and Ashley, me and Maddie's like actual like discussion. We're not going to
be dirty. I'm joking.
The discussion of like, hey, we're ready. We're going to do this. We're going to have this. And then I don't want to like full on talk about when we did it or how we did it, but like when we decided like, hey, we're going to do it tonight. You know what I mean? Like coming up, like working our way up to doing the dad deal, the dad deal. And then kind of like, finding out that you are in fact going to be a dad. Like she's pregnant. Here's the pregnancy test. Let me show you. And then I want to talk about when I try to tell our parents, like like you telling your mom, her mom, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that one was interesting because it was. I don't want to say having a kid is turning me soft. I've always been a soft boy, but man, am I really starting to understand why dads live for that wholesome shit? And moms too. Parents in general, but like I get it because when you can tell your parents that you're having a kid, it's the cutest fucking thing on the planet. Oh yeah. It's the most wholesome thing.
And then I want to talk about kind of like making the preparation and like working on what we're doing, how we're going to get there, what we're going to stock up on the diapers.
Yeah.
Luke,
and then you know what it feels like when you tell your parents about you having a kid?
$1 million.
$1 million, bitch.
And then the actual like birth, getting there, going to the hospital, squirting this child out, holding them in your hands for the first time. This little squid being.
Wow.
And then
I thought it was going to be like
that.
Like
where we're at now.
It's going to be like Men in Black with the squid baby and Men in Black.
Dude, I've experienced canine birth and human birth.
See,
and oh my fucking god, dude, I had one hell of a year. Straight up,
those were then. You should. You know what?
There were some ups, there were some downs. Goddamn.
So Well, and then fucking COVID happened right after you had a baby.
Dude.
Like all the lockdown.
Luckily, I had her before the lockdown because
Yeah,
there's a lot of people in the lockdown that got robbed of like the greatest moment in a parent's life, which is sad and it's fucked up.
I was gonna say, just go. You should, since you had your kid is older than mine. So, and I had that so fresh in my memory that I won't forget. I don't think I'll ever forget the day that he was born ever.
There's a few things that I might lose off.
Yeah, but because memory is tricky. But
the main things and the biggest things are going to hold dear.
As of right now, I can remember that whole entire day. I could tell you that whole day. But as I get older, I can understand that. But I will never forget. And this is just being honest. You will, as a father and as a mother, because she's the one that's got to push this damn kid out.
We're gonna have to stop because I have to go actually be a dad, and not talk about it. So we're gonna talk about deciding the decision to do it, and so
which is weird to think about to me.
Because when we were together, it's been like almost 4 years. We're living together. We're already engaged. We're getting married. So we already was like, we've been married. We lived together. We've been married. It's just gonna happen, and it's gonna happen. And when you're, like I said, when you're younger and you're a guy and you're having sex frequently, and you're always, I kind of wear condom. I gotta pull out. Like drowning. No, you gotta pull out. You gotta wear condom. You gotta do all that. And when you are with the person that you're with, and there's in the back of your mind, it's like, hey man, I can get her pregnant. I don't care. Like, this is even before you're married. You're like, I'm not scared to have gotten her pregnant when we're not married because I love them enough and I want to father our children. That's when you kind of know, hey, we're gonna make it. But
that's how I know, Maddie, you're never gonna cheat on your wife. My God, man. The way you described that was so beautiful.
Right? No.
No, I know. I'm laughing because that means that you were really in love with.
Because like in the back of my head, I was like, "Hey, man, it's fine, it's cool."
Yeah,
but
we'll figure it out.
Initially, like the actual, like, hey, I'm gonna do it, and like this will get into like the conception part, and
we're getting it on.
And I'll do the decision, the conception, and then you can tell your part, and then we'll kind of move from there, so it's not just me talking half of it, you talking for half of it. You know what I mean?
No.
Anyway,
I don't give a shit about this show. It's your show. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
But I'm gonna say that it was literally, and again, some of the details might be a little
fuzzy,
a little off, but you're in this one. So it was basically the actual decision of conception. It was my wedding night, and we're both trashed. And I literally just leaned over to you, and I say, "I'm gonna put a baby in that." And then, not even minutes later, I go over to her, and we're dancing, and I go, "I'm gonna put a baby in you."
And you know what I said to you when you said that? I said,
"Daddy, chill."
You know, I can't. We cannot do this pod and not have
Daddy, chill.
Anyway,
so,
but yeah,
her parents gave us a ride back to our hotel, and
that night you were like, "We're gonna have a child."
So, and what's funny too, and this is another one of those dad moment things, is David's like, "Hey, Lisa and I, we didn't really have a big wedding. We didn't do this. We didn't do the other thing. We basically just got married." And on the way to the hotel and all that stuff, we stopped at McDonald's. We were in the dress and everything, and we just did McDonald's. And you guys want to go to McDonald's? And I'm like, I'm fucking trash. So I'm like, fuck yeah. And in the back of my head too is he's sharing this weird thing that he did, and he wants us to do that too because he's like, I want to make this a weird tradition where you go to McDonald's after you get married. And so we did that. We go back,
hopefully
and we literally have all of the wedding cake left over, almost all of it. So we go into the hotel, and I kept the top because that's just what you do, I guess. Yeah. Whatever.
We just did that a couple weeks ago for or a month ago for our.
And it's
anniversary.
not good, but it's not bad either. You know,
I thought it tastes fine.
It's like freezer,
the cake
like
we
kind
had.
of freezer burnt, but it's not. Anyway, I have all this fucking cake, and I just stopped at the lobby on the way up to the room, and I go, "Hey, we just got married. You guys want this cake?" And they look at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, you can keep it here, eat it yourselves. You can take it to the break room, share with the rest of the staff." And so they're like, "Oh fuck yeah!" So they brought all this cake in there, but then we just went up to the room, and obviously we ate our McDonald's in bed. But then we did it, and then we're butt naked sitting in bed, and we're opening all of our gifts and everything. So that was cool. It's a little champagne.
We went to bed, man. We were tired.
Oh no, yeah, because we went out after your wedding.
Yeah,
we hit
hard.
hard.
We went out for a couple hours because I told Ashley, because she didn't really drink, and I said, "Here's what we do: we go back to the hotel, drop stuff off, but we don't change." Because sure enough, like 3 or 4 different
free
times
drinks,
we got free shots out of it. So
yeah.
Well, and also I feel like our wedding ended early enough. Because that was our plan anyway, to be like it ended early enough that we could still go
because you
out
were
if we
you were right down there.
Yeah, we were already downtown,
what
so
was
we
it, like
could
2 or 3 bars.
Yeah, so
the only one was open.
But we literally got into our room and we got undressed and we just ate some Jimmy John's and went to sleep.
Fuck yeah!
And the best part about that, well, other than getting married, but the best part about it was the hotel. We got bumped up, so because they fucked up our
your room was fucking badass.
Booking, so we got the presidential suite.
Even my suite was fucking sweet. Like
the Bluetooth,
like that's a type of
mirror?
studio apartment. Yeah, that's like a studio apartment that I would happily pay $1 for.
But in terms of the decision to do to have a kid, and as we talk about it on the podcast, maybe it's just our fathers themselves. But like I knew at a certain age, I can't tell you exactly when, but I knew I always wanted kids at some point. Mm-hmm. And she was the same way. So it was really just when we felt that we were financially stable enough to have a child is when we were doing that. And it was also, the unfortunate thing with women is, they're kind of on a ticking clock. So it was also a thing where we were trying to gauge of like, okay, how much longer can we wait? How much time do we have before we wouldn't have any issues?
Which is crazy too, to think, because like back in the day for the parents, it was always like, hey man, we got married, let's do it. Like they're fresh out of high school, they don't really know anything, but they're like, hey, I'm already on my 3rd kid. Like my parents, early 20s, I think 19 was when she had my sister. I don't know, but like 3 years, like clockwork. It was like bang, bang, bang.
My dad was about my age. He was 27, I think. My mom was 23 when they had me. So, our generation. That's also weird because both of us have young parents. That was just kind of, and that's just how generational things change.
Well, again, and if you think about it, we're more so the oldest of the oldest in our family of our friend groups. So because Kaylee is older. Kaylee's older than me, but a lot of our friends' parents are older too, and they've had multiple kids already before
and family members that are in our age group are same thing. They had kids at younger ages than we did. But I think that's
because back in the day, though, it was like you could have a basic
you just
job,
can't afford it now,
support a family, support. So where now it's like the age limit, or not, I want to say limit, but the age differential is so much higher now because it takes so much more to have a kid.
That's what I was going to say. It's millennials are having kids at older ages, and they're getting married at older ages. They're getting having kids at older, because I think a lot of it is we just live our traditional way of being with someone is different than it was. I mean, you lived with your wife for 2 or 3 years before you got married. I was living with my wife for 4 or 5 years before we got married, and next year will be 10 years.
The lifestyle of it, though, is just like you don't have to be married to be in love.
No, we've
been
back
in that day. It was
that
was
just
the
a
thing.
ring
You
on my
have
finger.
to have you have to have this big lavish wedding in order to justify it for everyone else.
But
And
you also have
that's
to,
another thing too. Is like you don't need that shit. I wish upon a fucking star I could go back and do a courthouse goddamn wedding. You know how much money that I'd have in the goddamn bank?
There were so many times, and I'm sure every married couple has had this. There were so many times when we were like, "Fuck it," and just go to a courthouse. Like we were like, because again, when we got married, we'd 7 years, no, 8 years. We've been together 8 years when we got married, and it really was a thing of like, yeah, we had already felt married anyway.
Wow. I just aged myself. Like, me and Maddie have been dating for fucking 7 years.
Well, it hit me the other day as I'm getting closer to 30, when I realized, like, oh, my wife has been with me my entire 20s.
I literally turned 21
yeah.
a month after me and Maddie started dating. And I'm almost 28. So,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Good God.
That's the craziest thing about that,
balls.
too, is, well, you just think about it, is like, Ashley pointed that out. Next year, we've been together for a whole decade. It's been a whole 10 years already, which is, and I think it's getting worse with becoming a parent, with like how strange time flows and how different perspectives can have different thought processes. But it is 10 years, but it doesn't feel like 10 years. So in a way, if I can keep that perspective in my brain, I won't feel as old as I am, even though deep down I know I'm an 80-year-old man.
I'm gonna say that you're gonna try, like, and I was mowing today, and it was just hilarious. And I have my playlist going, and it's like different things that I like, things that they think I like, all this shit. And country has been kind of flowing more in my playlist, and it's funny because as a kid and when I was younger, I never cared for country. I didn't like country anymore. But now as a dad,
you're gonna miss
I understand it. I understand country. I get country. Country makes you feel, and you can relate to country as a father because there's a few things that country music is about. It's about my wife, my dog, my truck, my kid, and my beer.
Maybe
and those 5 things.
Occasionally my guns.
And occasionally my guns, but most of it is about these 5 things.
Oh, sure.
And I relate on so many levels with these things. But dude, the song that will hit you so much. No, there's a song that came out a while back, and it made me cry before I was, like, when I first heard it, even before I even knew Madison, because like this is like high school. Brad Paisley, if he's anything like me, I think is what it's called. You listen to that song, and especially you being a boy dad, you will lose your fucking mind, because there's a part where he talks about how he'll look on the sideline with his football helmet on, and I just fucking started just pouring, and I'm like, I couldn't even imagine if I actually had a son and that shit.
Well,
but I'm rambling.
No, yeah, and these kind of conversations that we're having are like the biggest driving factors of me.
But what I was going to say before I got sidetracked by that is, when they start walking, they start talking, and they start calling you daddy,
personality,
and they start giving you their own like nicknames. Like, for a while, I was Daddy Bear for whatever reason. Don't know why, but I loved it. It was beautiful. It makes you cry, and I used to cry. I would tear up a little bit, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, so much more now. Any little thing will make me tear up. Like, I watched Buzz Lightyear, the new movie that came out.
And I want to see
the entire
that.
movie.
I've heard it's fucking amazing.
It's It is really good. There's three things that I have gripes with. Other than that, it's beautiful. And we can
I
talk
just don't
about
want
that later
them
after you
damn
see
gay
it. But
kissing couples indoctrinating my children.
no. That's one thing that I will say is I don't approve of it. Not in the reason that you might think, because I'm all for love is love. Because God damn it, I think it's a fucking beautiful story. But it's the fact that this movie is technically supposed to be 1995 and it's not approved in that Disney standard. Okay, so that right there is an inclination that the whole idea of it being the movie that Andy used to watch to get the merchandise,
That would not be in a film in
it would
1995.
it would not be in a movie in 1995, and that's why I don't approve that.
That's funny.
The other one I won't tell you because it's a big spoiler. But the big one is Tim Allen. Tim Allen, you should just got Tim Allen. Like,
I don't know why, and it probably is politics, but yeah, I don't.
Chris Evans. Well, no, because I said that too, but then I was like, but Disney's getting him back for the whole Santa Claus special.
Yeah,
they're doing a whole thing with that.
So maybe they wanted to differentiate it. I don't know.
But Chris Evans was asked that, and he said, I've never done any of the merchandise voice work for my toys. Like, every Captain America action figure is somebody else. Like, my brother even did a couple of them for me because I didn't do it. I didn't have time. So never really does the actual movie actor do voice work for the toys or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's why they don't
do
the
he's like, that's the
shit.
explanation. Which I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But I still hate it. Anyway. We keep rambling.
It is what it is. Anyway, yeah, we're not talking about
but what I was saying is when you have these little moments and you have these little things of like, oh, this is what I experienced as a kid, and you share those moments again through their eyes for the first times, it's just like little tiny tidbits of like we're doing this and we're doing that and we're having these big memory moments. You literally want to just take that moment, take everything you can in and hold on to it, because you don't want to think about it, but in the back of your mind is like, I might not get a moment like this again, or I might not. The time is just, it moves so fast and it moves so quickly. So I'm doing this so much more now because this is the time where she's my best friend.
Yeah.
Like I want to do everything with her. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to go here. Like today I tried to make it about her because she's obsessed with Toy Story. She's obsessed. Like Buzz, everything.
So, I was going to ask, did you try and go to the movie together?
Yeah. So we went, and she was, and it's the greatest thing because I'm sitting there, I'm like this, I'm like bawling, and she just keeps going, Dad, look. And then she says Zurge. She says Zurge because she can't say Zurg. I don't know why, but she says Zurch and Buzz. And she goes, Where'd it go? I'm like, he's on the screen. Just watch. You'll find out. But it's literally like I just see my dad at the theater with me for the first time, like seeing the Toy Story movies. And it's just like, like I tweeted it, you liked it. And Disney literally recaptured big part about me being a kid, and I was able to share that with my kid.
Yeah.
So those experiences like that is just, and no matter what Disney does, no matter how dark and weird and QAnon shit they do, it brings me back. Like there's just you can call it a cultistic, sadistic, fucking whatever, but Disney is good at their product. they sell some good ass shit, and it's hard not to like them. Like. And I know this is a different topic and this is a different thing, but there's things in my past and in me growing up and doing things, and I'm not saying that they're terrible parents or we are on a misunderstanding. We're on a different path in our lives, and we can't. And that goes back to how they were raised, how I was raised, and a lot of people can come in and look at my life and the things that I've done and the things that I've said and images that I've deleted off of Facebook is me growing up 99.99% white Nebraska Midwest town. It is the most right hick bullshit that you can ever have.
Oh yeah.
And it's also the thing of like, nobody is born. And I know a lot of people have a different viewpoint on the I see color thing.
People who say
It's
that
not
are
so
full
much-
who say I don't see color full of shit.
Yeah, no, and I want to say is I see color. Obviously you see color because you can't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
It's,
yeah,
you should be saying I don't see a difference.
right.
There's no difference between me and you. There's blah blah blah. Because that shit's taught. And the way that I've grown up, and I know you have too, because we have the same family, is it's you're growing up with this right view of things and this very Republican Christian cult bullshit, and
the small
you're basically
it's like you said, a white small town, and I'm not trying to say that like I know what you're trying to say too, because I know what you're saying because we grew up in the same town.
Because
they're just ignorant, and I don't
it's
mean
one of
that
those things
in a bad way. I mean it in a way that like, yeah, when you live in a population that is predominantly one race and one way of living, and like you said, a very like traditional Christian way of living, when there's people of color or there's gay people, it's a big deal in a way of like, oh, this is someone with a different culture
I want to
than
say,
us.
and this isn't me being like, hey, I apologize, and I'm sorry to my friends of multiple races and nationalities and sexual whatever. This isn't an apology because I did what I did. I'm not gonna take it back. You know, I'm not gonna, and I'm not trying to be all these things. But it's, and I blame it on my upbringing because
and
you're in this time in this place of me where I'm growing up. You're a casual racist. You just are. You're trying to joke about it. You're trying to make fun of it.
So many times when I would be homophobic and throw gay slurs and not even think about doing it.
Every time I have a flashback or a memory hop thing on my Facebook, I go,
because we were stupid and we'd put that shit in public and be like, look at this dumb thing I said in high school.
And there's one photo, and you can see it in my face. You can see it in my eyes that I do not, and I'm not happy about this.
Because we're trying to be
you can
edgy.
also see, but you can also see my T-shirt, which is funny because it's like a camp T-shirt, and it says, when you die, where will you go?" And on the back, it's the burning question, and it's like this whole like thing about
you had the church camp shirt on.
Go to heaven type bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to dock anybody for religion, and I don't want to hate on it because there are good Christians, there are good people, and everything, but there is a very dark and demented way of life because you're not going to accept anything that is against you. You are not going to accept anything that isn't the way that you think. And it's like, dude, you can't take and pull from it and then say, I want to do this and I want to do that, because it says, I want to love everybody. I want to love everyone.
Yeah.
Do not cast a stone. But that's the first fucking thing they do. They judge. They say, hey, you are wrong. You're going to hell. And then there's no compassion. There's no anything.
Yeah.
And that's a part of the reason why I've walked away from that. Because I hate organized religion. I just do with a passion.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was like,
my darkness.
You want to talk about a long-winded moment. But what were you? Okay. So, what were you building towards there? And what you're trying to say of like, you just think that your upbringing is like, you talk about the childhood and everything like that. So are you saying
because
it makes you want to be a better dad? Is what you're trying to say?
Yeah, because you want to be a better dad. You want to do these things, and you want to be right by your kids. Because now, in me, I'm seeing things in a different perspective and a different everything. Because like the whole, everybody's against the whole not so secret gay agenda that Disney is doing, and I'm like,
it's not even a real thing.
At first I was like, that's so stupid. Disney's dumb. Disney, whatever. But now I'm like, it's when she says that it's my not so secret gay agenda, and everybody's saying that they're just going to force feed it on everyone, and it's like, no, we weren't allowed to do this for so long. We weren't allowed to do it. And it's normal. It is not wrong. It is not this fucked up thing that you want it to be. And because there's never been any of this stuff, they're just organically putting it in there.
Well,
because it shouldn't have to be this big
and it's
drawn out
unfortunate
plan about trying to bring it back.
I've talked with Tyler about this, with like representation and why it's important. It's like, it's just unfortunate that whenever there is any representation of a minority or a gay person or whatever, it has to be a focus point in their character in the narrative, because we're so used to just straight couples being on screen.
It was like,
and
it
it's
was
like,
probably
Luke, when you watch a movie and you see a straight couple, is that what made you straight? No. Seeing a gay couple on TV is not going to make your kid gay. It's just that's not how that works.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Okay, that was kind of my segue. Is like you're able to show your kids these things. You're supposed to be able to show and like teach them things, whereas those things are taught. If you show them, they're gonna learn it, and they're gonna live on that. So
yeah,
you just gotta watch yourself. Do right by your children, because I have changed for the better. I am more accepting of everything and anything, and I love love, because the love that I have for my wife, for my kid, is ridiculous. And what I've gone through to be able to have that is fantastic. But and I know this is weird, and this is I don't go to the dark side of the web for this, but. But the alphabet community, and I say this because I feel like your LGBTQP pi plus negative, whatever it is you guys do and call yourselves, I feel like that doesn't do you guys any justice, because you're kind of just adding another letter to be like, hey, we include you too. It should just be like,
it should just be LGBTQ plus.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying they should just come up with like a legit thing to say.
I don't
as just, hey, I'm people, we're people. But anyway, that's not what I'm. I love love. I love my wife. Everything that I've gone through to have what I have and what I've done is fantastic. But like when you hear gay people, you hear lesbians, you hear dude on dudes, and what they had to go through in the last even like 5 years to be able to have what they have, to be able to adopt, to be able to inseminate, to do all these things, to have what I take for granted. It's such a better love story. It's such a better everything, because they had to go through so much more.
They have to fight for more, yeah.
Yeah, because like that love is so much stronger, and it means so much that you're gonna literally sacrifice your entire life for this shit. Like, how can you hate and how can you disrespect somebody who just wants to love someone?
Yeah,
it is not affecting you. It's not a part of you.
At the end of the day, I think people just don't want to have what they might perceive as uncomfortable conversations with their kids. When in reality, it's just saying to your kids, hey, gay people exist. That's it. All right. So I don't know where this conversation's going, but...
Well, it's just... okay, dial it back.
Okay, so we're working out some kinks here. All right, we're trying to get the dad cast to work properly, okay? And we had to take another quick break in recording. Luke, what else did you want to talk about in terms of? Because to put a bow on what you said, I think it's really amazing that you got to experience that for the first time, and I can't wait to show Lincoln the shows that I watched or the cartoons that I enjoy, and see him experience that, and see if he likes those things, or even a show that he likes that I might eventually like. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I literally watch Toy Story 1 through 4 every day.
Changed my fucking life. So,
dude, it's the greatest show of all time. We can talk about cartoons and shit in another episode, because that's hours and hours of content that we can go over.
Oh shit, man! Also, but a show about our kids, but it's also like a show about us reliving our childhood through them. And,
yeah. I mean, essentially, that's what having your child is.
Well, can I ask you a question? Because I've been feeling this, but when you finally became a dad, did you have this overwhelming feeling of, the usual things that you do, love, and of like a little bit of anxiety, because you're like, oh my God, now I have to take care of another human life, because you're already taking care of yourself and your wife. Now you got to take care of, your whole family, all that stuff. But then did you have this like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, because I just have this feeling of like legacy, of like I have so much pride in this kid, and this kid is only not even 3 months old yet. But
when they start, like I said, when they start talking, they start walking, and they're able to do shit. Because her big thing now too, and every single time she does this, I clap, and I have this like I did that moment. Because her thing now is she'll throw something away, she'll get up off the couch by herself, she'll put something away in the drawer, and she looks at me with like the most beautiful eyes in the world. This whole like face of innocence, and she does a 2-clap. I did it. I did it.
Yeah.
I lose my shit. Like I'm tearing up right now thinking of it because
no,
if she can put something in a drawer and make me feel that pride.
Yeah.
What if she does actually does some shit?
This is kind of weird because I feel like you kind of deal with some of the same stuff I do. I have a lot of like really bad existential anxiety, existential dread. I don't know where I could start to like put my finger on when I started to recognize that I was developing anxiety, and I do have anxiety.
You're reaching 30, Jake. It just comes with the territory.
I want to be clear. This isn't clinical. But I know people that have had anxiety, and I know that people that have had these kind of mental health issues. So I know how to identify it. And I think I've been put at ease a lot with having Lincoln. I think that
that's because your shit don't matter no more.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying.
You literally have to have this like internal thing tell you, hey, it doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter how I think.
Well, it does.
I have to go above. Well, yeah, but you have to go above and beyond to take care of them instead of yourself. It's them, then you, and then that's the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe. But it is
because I don't remember who it was saying this, but they were like they were on a boat trip floating, and he's like, if I'm in there by myself, I'm saying fuck that. There's sharks in here. But when you have kids and they're out there with you, you're like, nah, it's okay.
It's calm.
Daddy's here. It's fine. And it's true. There is a calmness as a dad when you're out.
Oh yeah, and
because you already know you're going to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah, like he said,
it's a done deal.
I would die for my kid. Absolutely. There's no question. There's no question in my mind that I'd put my life on the line for him. And that's just a weird cerebral, like guttural feeling that we have when we decide to create offspring in a
when you start feeling, when you start going through the scenarios in your head, and you're like the people that are closest to you, and you think about if they were to do something, you're going to the level of how far you will go. And I've literally sat there and I've said, I could shoot him. I could shoot him right in the fucking forehead. I could do it.
Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't bat an eye about it, because it doesn't matter, because you've defiled that trust. You've ruined my child.
Right. Well, and just on a base level of like, I'm only, like I said, he's not quite 3 months yet. But there is that feeling of like, I have that guttural parental guardianship of like, if there's any situation where I think anybody's causing him any harm, I will do whatever I can to end that. And whether it be
like
something...
I said, when you start contemplating killing a motherfucker to protect the innocence of your child, that's when you know that thing's real.
And I think any normal parent would say the same thing of like, I can...
Yeah.
And but I'm saying is like, that is really changed. Like, he has changed everything in such a short amount of time, when there's something as I thought when I planned for it to change me has still done things that, because I like I said, I'm much more at peace. I am so much more at peace now, because it is that feeling of, I understand that while my feelings are valid and I should deal with them, I also I have this other thought in my head of being like, don't you think you're doing what you always do, and you're overthinking things, and you're making things worse in your head? And then I start to think, and then I calm, and a lot of times it's my wife telling me that. And this is why
Yep.
I think that you need to find, like, I tell everybody, if there's a chance, if you can find that right person, marry them and be with them, because there's so many times when she will tell me what I need to hear in sense of, like, you're doing the thing. You're spiraling.
Mhm.
Calm down.
You're
She
doing
has that
you're
issue.
doing the dad deal.
No,
You're-
and that's a parent thing. She has that issue too. She starts to go down that rabbit hole of thinking, and I have to pull her out of it and be like, no,
Yep.
hold on.
And it's a lot harder now too for you, because you're in that fresh out of it, that postpartum bullshit.
Yeah.
Because women go through this like whole thing of, I can't do it, I can't please this child, and they have like a
They all
literal
have a
breakdown.
breakdown. Yeah.
And you literally have to go in there, and it's a great feeling too for you, because when mom can't and dad can, that
Well, it's amazing because honestly, I'm fucking useless. Like,
Yeah,
and
I mean, essentially, yeah.
And I don't mean that I can't watch take care of my kid by myself. I can. What I'm saying is, like, when you have a newborn like that, and mom is on maternity leave, I wish I had more time to be with her, not having to go back to work. But like in that time, the little bit that you can help feels so great, because there's so much. Most of the time you can't do anything, especially in our situation where we were fortunate enough, and we are still fortunate enough, that Ashley can breastfeed, because we don't have to deal with all the shit going on with the formula, but also because
saving $1 million.
Well, it's been a bonding experience for them, and it's been great. But at the same time, there are times where I wish, and I try and find ways that I can do more, and I'm still getting better at it, and it's still kind of a weird limbo, because I feel there was a moment because we recently just started taking him to daycare, and it just, the first day by myself was scary. I had a lot of confidence because I had spent enough time with him, because again, I work at night, so I had time during the day to spend with him while she was still off work. So we started a bond. We started to build a bond, and he started to know who I was, and so I had that going in. But then there was also that thing of, like, if anything got too hard, I could give him to Ashley, and Ashley could take care of it. But Ashley's not there, so I have to figure things out. And it actually felt really good when I managed to take care of, like, I didn't have I think he kind of was nervous too, because he shit himself like 3 times, and I shit myself 3 times. But I only had one, like, panic text, and that was only because the bottle that I had, he wasn't taking it, and because I couldn't get him to feed, and he was freaking out, and I just had to switch out bottles real fast, and then he fed. But, like, that after that, and then finding out that he was still a happy, because he is, even for a kid that's not even 3 months old, has a ton of personality already, and I love it. He loves to smile, and he's like got this huge, beautiful smile, and to see that he was still like that at daycare put it at ease. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I was fucking crying when I dropped him off at the daycare center, because not only did I have to go through that emotional roller coaster of me, like you said, and this is what's amazing about him, and he doesn't even know it yet. He doesn't know how amazing he is, because he is forcing me to deal with my shit. Because, like, I was on the verge of a fucking panic attack, and I'm like, you need to suck it up, dude. You have got to feed this child. You know what I mean? And it really helps me work through my shit. It does. And I'm not saying, and I'm in no way am I telling anybody on this planet to be like, have a kid for your mental health. Don't do that.
Fuck no.
Do not do that.
Fuck no.
But I'm saying, if you are someone like me that gets in their own head and overthinks things and causes problems, it's great that he's there to make me center and be like, you're not as bad as you think you are, man. You're fine. Like,
yeah.
And we're lucky. We're lucky. He's a pretty chill baby. As long as he gets fed, he's fine. He gets really hangry. I understand. I do too. I totally get it. So that's fine. And
what you said about having a kid for your mental health. That's another thing too. Is as much as there are good things, there's a lot of bad things. So when people say we're gonna have a kid to save this relationship,
No, absolutely not.
you're
No.
fucking stupid. You are fucking stupid because if anything, having kids ruins relationships, motherfucker.
Yeah, because you are forced to spend time with that person, and you're forced to, you are forced to, again, deal with your shit, and you have to take care of this kid. So it has to.
Well,
be,
you're both and you're already on edge because you're not getting any sleep. You have to take care of this child. Everything's new to you, and when one person has a way of doing it and the other one has another way of doing it, and you butt heads on those things, and just different like arguments that you have, it's escalated and it's highlighted because everything you're already on edge because of all these like new and sleep deprivation,
and
so
and
everything's just extra.
And that's another thing too. You also have to in that when you're in that moment and dealing with that stuff, you've got to do your best, regardless if you're postpartum, during the pregnancy, whatever. You guys just you really have to communicate, and you're going to get angry at each other, and you got to do your best to make sure that you don't say anything that you don't mean. Because I definitely said things that I've hurt her feelings that I didn't mean it. And she's done the same. That's just being in a relationship. But yeah, it also it's making me be better. It's like, okay, I've got to work on my anger. I've got to try not to blow up. I've got to be a little bit more patient. Just things that you have to something I probably should have dealt with a long time before having a child.
Yeah.
But also, I want to put out that too, in terms of the mental health thing that I was saying. Also, I would not have had a child if I didn't think I was mentally able to do it. I understand that my situation is not the same as someone else's, and I think everybody we all get that, mental health is a spectrum and it's person to person. And I want to be very clear. I'm not like someone who I don't take medication. I don't do it's just I know that I have some of my own issues that I have to deal with, and I know that they are related to things that normally are with people with anxiety and different things. I'm not saying you should self-diagnose either. Okay? I'm saying if you want to get help, you should get help, because therapy should not be stigmatized the way it is, because it's ridiculous that it is. Quite honestly, it's the smartest thing. It's literally just paying someone to listen to you be like, my life sucks.
Well, that's the thing about therapy, though, and I say that I need to go to therapy for many things, not just the weird shit that I deal with, but like just in general, because it's always nice to have somebody who's third party, who has no clue who you are, to listen to your bullshit. Because when you're married and you're talking to your wife, they know your tics, they know your everything, so they know when you're being over dramatic. They know when you're dealing with something, and sometimes you just need somebody to listen to you to have another opinion. So when somebody's having all that shit, because they're already predetermining their opinion, like they say they're not, but a lot of times they already say, hey, you're just being stupid, or I know I've heard this before. But sometimes you need somebody to have another perspective to come in and help you through it. So I don't want to say this because obviously it shouldn't matter, but I can't afford therapy right now. Money's tight. So to pay somebody to listen to me talk, I might as well just go back on AOL
so
chat.
You're just gonna be like every other white dude and start a podcast.
Yeah, because I'm talking to you, the viewers, the listeners,
talking to all the dads. No, and I think all the things that I was talking about just now
at Pod Radio
are the same things.
We frequent some punk rock hits such as
well, talk to me about
this, You by Blink-182.
Luke, stop.
Sorry, I'm rambling.
You kept with the bit.
So
I'm like, the bit is over. The bit has been done. No, I was gonna say, like, what was your kind of like love? Because everybody has the anxiety and stuff with it. So like, what was? Because you seemed a lot more chill than I was. Like I was kind of nervous. Like I started at like a really high anxiety level, and then as we got closer to delivery, I started to chill out. So I feel like you went the
'Cause-
opposite way.
I was pretty chill up until like it kind of happened, and then because I was cool with it. I mean, it was, and this is, I mean, can't really compare them, but my dog was pregnant, so I feel like by experiencing it once already,
We like
that I
within
could get
weeks.
through it. Yeah, because it's like January, like middle of January, and then
That's how I got mine.
like middle of February, I had my daughter. So, and
Right
and
before
I'm
the
like
lockdown.
I'm sitting on the couch, and my dog, she's like very pregnant. It's at least 3 months, because weird dog years and everything is like weird, short, everything's quickened.
It's like
So she's
60
like
days.
3 months
Like
pregnant.
63 days or something is like a dog's pregnancy or something like that.
So she's literally like, she's pregnant, hardcore. It's like any day now.
Just
And
sagging.
I just hear her just like
God.
moaning and groaning, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I can't keep her in the room, so I take her downstairs into the living room where it's like all wood floors, everything, and I don't know that she's literally in labor, and like this big giant, because like dogs water breaks too, which is weird and it's gross, and it's like this excess fluid just squirts out on the floor. And because I go back to bed because I'm like, she's just having one of her fits, because she does. And then she's like literally howling. So I get up, I go down there, and I see the water, and I'm like, oh God. And I literally get my phone out, and I texted my foreman, and I'm like, hey, I'm not coming in tomorrow. My dog's literally, I don't know if I said it and said why I think I just said I'm using a sick day, because I'm like, I gotta literally birth these dogs in the middle of the night. I'm not going to work in the morning. And so it is the grossest and the most beautiful thing, other than my child being born. That's the one thing that tops this, because this dog shoots out, and she's not on anything, and like her, like, and mothers canine, mammal, the like, dude, women, they have this motherly instinct of just what to do in any situation. So as soon as the dog shoots out, it's in this literal like embryo sac.
Oh my God.
And she just goes,
oh my
like, literally
God.
sucks the whole thing off
Oh,
and like licks this dog clean,
oh my God.
because there's blood and everything. So I got like blankets and shit and everything.
That's
So
disgusting.
and then it was like a good hour and a half before the next one. And I got this laundry basket with blankets in it, and I got this towel. I'm wiping them off. I'm sitting them each one in this bed.
Like you're putting them on a baking
And
tray.
yeah, like basically, and they're literally like guinea pigs. They're so
That's
fucking
what I mean.
small.
It's like you're putting the cookie dough on the.
Yeah, just putting little plops, and each one is just like it's this weird like bonding moment that she had with each one, because they come out. She eats the everything, like everything. and it's a weird comparison, but it's true, because moms have this weird animalistic instinct. Like, this is the like evolution at its peak, because as soon as they have that child, that puppy, that everything, it's like they're just gonna do anything and everything, and it doesn't matter what you think or what you say, because they are gonna protect this kid, and it's crazy.
Funny thing that you said, is there's a show on Netflix about, like, I don't even know what it's called. I think it's like Nature Mom. It's Mom something, but it's Animal Moms. And it's like, it's just this documentary thing of watching these different species of moms protect their young. And it's funny because I watched it with Ashley, and she watched one episode and was like, this shit's too intense. Because she had like this motherly instinct, and I did too as a parent as well. Like, as another parent watching it being like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, like that, just that parental instinct to immediately protect your kid, like immediately defend your young. And it's funny because it is like a mammal thing. It really is like hardwired in all of us. So, like, whether it be human or animal, as soon as that child is born, it is like instantly, I don't know if it's love for animals, because there are some animals that infanticide, but I saw it firsthand. You saw it firsthand. The minute me holding the baby was a beautiful moment and wonderful, but that ain't fucking compared to the moment Ashley held him. Because if I could have a snapshot of like the guy that met her 9 years ago and be like, tell him like, if you just listen and trust yourself and don't doubt yourself, this will happen. Because it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I'm not, me holding him was fucking paled in comparison. Because mothers are, and I know you're going to say the same thing about your wife, experiencing this from from a man's perspective and seeing what she went through and seeing how well she is, like how good of a mother she is, it makes me cry because I'm like, I'm so damn proud of her. Like I am just in awe of her every day. If anything, it's made me love my wife 10 times more than I already love.
Oh yeah, that's what I was.
If that's even possible.
When you're in that room and they're going through all this, and you're their only comfort, and to be able to go through that with her, it's just you two. It's so fucking incredible. Yeah, it's just you. And then when that baby plops out of there, and they wipe it up, they hand them to you, and then they say, "You want to cut the cord?"
That was awful. I hated that. I was so fucking nervous.
I know. I was like, right here. But you also had the wiener sticking out, so you're like, get the tippy or.
Well, I had the doctors hand me the wrong scissors, and so I'm sitting there with scissors in my hand, and the nurse, God bless her, she was still nice about it because I think she told me like 3 or 4 times, and I'm just like, what? Like, because I'm still like in the aftershocks of this like fucking out of body experience, and I'm like, I look at, and she goes, those are the wrong scissors, and then she hands me the other scissors. I'm like, oh, and like everything just felt like I was in such a daze because then after that moment, I cut the umbilical cord. You have to cut it twice, by the way. Then they go and have me sign the paperwork for the consent to, take care of him because obviously he's a baby. He can't give consent. All that shit. The legal shit. And on my way there, I fucking run into the lamp. That's right off the lamp. Dude, I was just, and I'm like, and I literally in the middle of it, I'm like, I'm sorry. This has just been a lot to like emotional thing. And I don't think, and you said it, you texted me, you said, get ready for the best day of your life. And man, that was the truest thing ever because
dude, the moment that you have, and I wrote this little spoken word to go off of this a little bit because like with the day of my wedding, and I cried so hard at that. And that's just pure joy and just the future that I've set in myself and in my mind, and then to literally experience it with the birth of my child, and to see this and just have that, the tears came even more.
Yeah,
because I'm not joining and sharing a life. I'm creating life. Like, God damn it, Scott Stapp's a motherfucker because the dude can fucking write some lyrics, okay? Because Arms Wide Open, like, dude, come on, like everything, like I said,
it's like
it's music, it's music like that, and like that I grew up with and I grew up on, and I know, and like just different things that I, this is cool, but then actually having it and then experiencing moments like that. It just hits harder because now you understand. Now you know that you like that, but now you love it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's true. I just we talked about the wholesomeness of it is like just experiencing my mom go have see her baby boy have a kid and be a grandparent in that way. And to see her mom and dad and like all that stuff, it's kind of crazy because
so this will kind of just segue into the other thing that I want to talk about when you told your mom, like when you decided, hey,
okay, well
this is the moment I'm going to tell everyone, I'm going to tell her, and then
so the way
this is how they reacted.
The way that we did it was two different ways. Because how I told my mom was, excuse me, you're like really cutting out, dude.
Yeah, you too.
What is going on with that connection? Or connection's fucking up. This is what happens when you try and record with Iowa and Oklahoma internet together. This is what.
Well, I got some random stuff open that I'm trying to force quit.
Yeah, me too. Anyway,
because it's saying I've run out of application memory.
So anyway, the how we did it for my mom, we've bought a photography package that our cousin does, and or my cousin does, I should say. So we set all that up, and then the plan was Ashley bought me a shirt, which is really funny because she thought it was the Mandalorian, because it's like the Mando looking armor, and it's holding a mug that says "Best Dad Ever." It's actually Jango Fett, which is even funnier, and where she thought she's fucked up, I was like, no, that's even better because it's just Jango Fett. And that's just a funny shirt. So I had that on underneath the shirt that I was wearing for pictures, which fucking sucked because this was in like early September, so it was really hot out. And I'm sweating balls. And so, yeah, then we were like, okay, we got to do one more picture. And so then I took the nice shirt off that I was wearing, and I go, and she looks at me, and she can't really read it for a second. I'm like, look, and it says "Best Dad Ever," and she's like, oh my God, are you serious? And like freaks out. And we had a couple. I think we have pictures of her like genuine reaction. They're pretty great. And then her mom, we didn't show until I don't remember when, but we were staying at her parents' house, and she like just casually put it up on the fridge. Didn't tell anybody. She just kind of just put it up there. And then her mom finally saw it and came over and was crying. It's like, when did you put that up there? And was crying, and they hugged, and it was really cute. So I think we nailed it
Right.
in terms of that. But we'll get yours here in a second.
And so,
so yeah,
we did two different things with my parents and her parents when we told them that we were because when I found out, which is crazy, is
we didn't even talk about how I found out.
Yeah, she came downstairs and she handed me the pregnancy test, and I was just like, no way, like this is fake, this isn't real.
Yeah.
And it was on Father's Day of all things, and I literally held this disease stick in my hand, and I'm like, this is the most disgusting thing that you could have done, is this piss-soaked stick. Like,
yeah,
that's like your first thought. Well, not your first thought, but your second thought after you've come to like, oh, I'm gonna be a dad. Like, this is it. It's real. She's carrying my child, and then you're like, take it. This is gross.
Yeah.
But I found out on Father's Day, which is crazy. So that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever. But when we told her parents, because my parents and her parents are like complete opposites of the spectrum of adulthood and parenting, and so basically we ordered these fake scratch off tickets. So like when you're done, it says go to the bottom to see your prize. So like you get a certain amount of boats or whatever, then you win, and it says go to the bottom to see your prize. And it just says we're pregnant or I'm pregnant or something like that. And they all kind of just sat there like, that's a weird prize. And then they put it together and like, oh shit. And then they like congratulated us, did all this stuff. And when we told my parents, it was we went to this Italian restaurant in Omaha, my old neighborhood, everything, which was like full on, like the dude is from Italy, like has the New York accent, which is funny because you say he's straight Italian, but he's 100%
he had a New York, Italian. He's from New York.
He's from New York, which is hilarious. But he had this like thick accent, New York style accent. He's tan. Yeah. He's got more hair gel than local pharmacy sells. Yeah, and he's got the chef smock on, and he's like, he's doing the thing. Food? He's running food. He's cooking in the back. He's trying to entertain all the guests because this room is literally this place is tiny. It is tiny, but it's like wood fire, oven, the nine.
There's a place like that in Des Moines that's like an Italian place. It's super swanky and it's like very limited of how many people can be in it. I don't know. There's like a weird thing about that.
Yeah,
it's a weird style.
Like it's awesome though. I love it.
No,
they closed, which is sad. But we went in there because it was my parents.
Yeah,
I want to like 28th, 29th. I don't know. It's up there in years. Their anniversary. And so we were like, we'll just take you guys to dinner, whatever, we'll celebrate. So we order, my dad, because I told him I was paying. So my dad has no, filter when it comes to these things. His immediate thought is, I paid for you for 18 years. I'm going to get my money's worth. So he orders, the most expensive thing on the fucking on the menu. It's like a filet. It's like a filet mignon at a fucking Italian place, which is just stupid. And he gets a side of spaghetti and all this shit. And I'm like, oh my god, Dad! It was almost $200 bill because I got dessert because that's how I did it. But I got up and I went over to what was his name?
Tony.
It was like Emilio's or something like that. But his name, it was his name on the restaurant, so his name was Emilio or something. Yeah, because that's super Italian. But I think it was Emilio. I don't know, something like that. But I go over to him, I introduce myself, whatever, and I say, "Hey, it's my parents' anniversary, and we're gonna announce that we're pregnant. Can we get the chocolate cake? And will you put the ultrasound in it and these candles and say whatever?" Yeah. So he brings it over. He goes all out on it. He's like, "I've never had somebody do this before. This is awesome. This is gonna go in my history book kind of thing, whatever." Yeah. And he brings over this cake. Yeah, he brings it over, and my parents basically go, "Oh, that's cute. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for getting the bill," kind of thing. And they just sit there, and I'm like, "You gonna look at this cake, or you gonna?" And then I go, "Hey, look!" And then my mom, she clearly doesn't know what's going on, and my dad looks at it and he goes, "Huh, that's neat." Oh, yeah. He literally go, "Oh," and so they stood up and started getting all happy shit and hugging us and all this shit. But they both literally are at the age where they can't see. They literally they trombone.
I had to signal to my mom because she didn't have her glasses on. So I was like, "Look at the shirt." Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the obliviousness of it literally just being thunk right on your forehead. So yeah, that's
in terms of
that's how it happened.
When I found out, it was like 6 in the morning when Ashley was leaving for work, and she woke me up. She says, "I think I'm pregnant." She woke me up, and I'm like,
"I think."
I'm half awake, so I'm like, "What?" And this is I said, I just took a test. It says I think we're pregnant, and I was just like, "Oh, that's great. That's great. That's nice." Then she came into bed and cuddled with me, and I hugged her, and we held each other for a little bit before she went to work. And I was like, "That's really nice." Couldn't tell you what day it was, but I do remember distinctly getting woken up and then being excited, but not really coming to grips with it. And then it was your dad being "Oh," it was later on when I woke up in the day, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
that's when it hit me. Oh my god,
that's kind of when she found out that she was going into labor too. She's just got out of the shower or whatever. Or she was getting into the shower. Her water broke. She was getting in. She called me. And she's like, "Hey, I think my water broke." I'm 5 minutes away from work. And she's like, "Are you going to go to work? Or are you just going to finish out the day and then come home?" I'm like, "No, your water just broke. We got to go to the fucking hospital. We got to go." She's like, "Oh, no, it's fine." And I'm like, "No, you." So I literally pull into the parking lot at work because I'm I'm not going to turn around right now. I'm not going to call them and then turn around. So I just
at least go in there and tell them, "Hey, my wife's going into labor."
I walk in and I go, "Hey, 2 weeks, taking my vacation now. Bye." And so I just leave and I go back home and one of my buddies was there. Because I called him or I don't remember how that happened, but he ended up going over there because the puppies. Yeah, that's what it was. Called him. He went over there to watch the puppies and everything at the house. And so he brought her fucking ice chips and fucking like a Gatorade and all this weird ass shit, candy and everything, because that's what he did, was bring you candy. Anyway, she finished taking a shower, and he's just chilling on the couch with the puppies, and then she comes down, and I get home, and I'm like, "We're gonna go?" She's like, "Oh no, you can take a shower. You can just." I'm like, I change because I'm in my work clothes. We go to the hospital, but she was literally just gonna be like, "No big deal."
Yeah.
I'm like, "We gotta go." And she was literally, we were in the hospital for maybe 3 hours before she was born. But in like actual labor, like pushing and everything was like 5 minutes. Because like we got in there, they came in, they checked if she was dilated. She wasn't. They're like, "We're just going to give you something to speed you along." Cool.
Yeah.
The doctor came in and was like, "We're going to do this practice and then, we'll get ready for the real thing." She starts the practice push. Doctor's not even prepped yet. And she goes, "Oh, shit," grabs a smock, throws it on, and then Maddie literally pushes twice. There's the baby. Like, I was like, dude, this couldn't have been better. This couldn't have been smoother. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have
which is
to
totally
smack
opposite
anyone
for me
around.
because I had to hold my wife's leg as she pushed for an hour to push the baby out. And she was in labor for 12 hours, I think.
And that she had to get 2 epidurals, which is fucking ridiculous. Because the first one didn't hit right.
Actually,
So
I
it literally
had to get stabbed 4 times.
Fuck.
It was
Maddie
brutal.
did twice because the first one only numbed her like legs, her like feet and like calves, and so they had to do another one to numb the rest of it. And I'm like, if you can't fucking do it the first time, don't charge me for the second one. Like that's not my fault. That's your fault. Which is ridiculous hospital shit.
I will say this: greatest day of my life for sure. And I said this before. I told Ashley this, and I talked, I think, on off topic about it. About like, it's crazy because every day I hold the center of the universe in my hand, like of my universe. The center of my universe is right there, and it's incredible. It is really something that is amazing because I feel immensely important, but also immensely insignificant at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you said, my life has made a change. My life is going to be how can I help him have the best life, and that's exciting. Mm-hmm. It really is. And
it's fantastic. I
feel
love being a dad.
It is amazing. I would recommend it to anybody that wants to be a parent.
Oh yeah. If you're on the fence of being a parent and you're afraid that you're not going to be good enough, you're afraid that you can't measure up to the hype and the empowerment that you feel as a father, do it.
Hey, if we can do
it. And there's no real when I'm ready. There's only I'll be ready when it happens. Yes. Because that was a thing too, is like you're always scared that you're not gonna be financially stable. You're not gonna be anything. But it's like you have 9 months of prep to get yourself there. And 2, it's just you just gotta do it. Like because again, there is that ticking clock of complications and the ability to have one. So why wait? Just go for it.
That's another thing too. Is as we kind of wrap it up, is just like it is a very given that all that can happen with childbirth. We are extremely blessed that he was born with really no issues and he's a happy, healthy baby. Mm-hmm. And I know it can't be that way for some people, and it is unfortunate. And I just, if you are a parent out there, just remember when the times get crazy. And again, I know I'm coming off of like a fucking high horse of only having a child for 3 months, but just in this brief period, I'm still learning shit every day, how to change, and it's something that just remember that every day that you have with them is something amazing and great, and we should just look at it as that. Every day is a gift, and not every parent gets to have that, and so I'm very blessed to have those. You know what I mean?
Yes. Parenthood. I don't know how to close this show, so I'm just gonna say, hey, this was episode 1 of
I got you, dude.
The Dad Pod.
You ready?
Yeah.
Give me a combo move.
Daddy, chill.
Hold on. No, why did it stop? Damn it.
Daddy, chill.
And that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.